What does it take to break a man? For me, it wasn't one moment. It wasn't a single trauma. It was a slow grind, a long, drawn-out erosion that started in 2018 when I was 24 and didn't let up for almost 6 goddamn years. This part of my life wasn't glamorous. It wasn't ideological. It was survival. See, I'd already built my worldview. Enlightenment Socialism was forming in my mind like a philosophy forged in fire. Liberty, equality, dignity, solidarity, all tied together by science, reason, and the refusal to bow to any king, priest, or oligarch ever again. But then, life came knocking, and not politely. I became a trucker, not because I wanted to, because I had to. Because I had dreams bigger than capitalism would ever fund. And if I was going to build the post-scarcity transition, if I was going to fund eudaimonia holdings and start laying the groundwork for the civilization of the mantle, I had to do it with my own 2 hands. So I hit the road. Trucking only deepened that drift. The cab became a sealed capsule where days and nights blurred together, the horizon always moving, but life standing still. Me and Rebecca literally just drove and slept over and over until the years melted into one long haul. That mental dissociation I'd been carrying since my teens, the habit of living in some imagined future instead of the moment, had free reign out there. From the outside, it might have looked like strategic patience, like I was biding my time, but inside, it was survival instinct, the same way a ship in a storm cuts the engines and rides it out. I wasn't waiting for the perfect moment to act. I was just holding on until the fog lifted. And slowly, I started to die. Not all at once, just little every day. The diet, trash. The sleep, erratic. The body, breaking. I went from 230 pounds to 350. My muscle mass wasted away, my blood pressure skyrocketed, my joints screamed, my mind dulled. By the time I quit trucking, I moved like a baby deer on ice. The only word that described it was skedaddling, this awkward, desperate attempt to still move like I was alive when my body had already given up. And worst of all, I thought I was going blind again. I have keratoconus. I had corneal transplants in 7th and 8th grade. And by 2023, I couldn't tell if I was going blind or if the system was just grinding my spirit into the pavement. So I quit a month before I turned 30, after sideswiping a rolled over truck at 3 a.m. And still, I couldn't see a doctor for over a year because the system that broke me wouldn't even let me check if my fucking eyes still worked. Turns out I wasn't going blind. The shape of my cornea just shifted to the point where glasses stopped working. But I had to wait 15 months to hear that. 15 months of fear, of spiraling, of wondering if my life was over before it could even start. And while all that was happening, while I was fighting to feel like a human being again, the world was unraveling. Trump lost in 2020, but the fascists didn't go anywhere. COVID revealed just how fragile, how utterly hollow our systems were. The business plot 2.0 wasn't coming. It had already happened. We were living in its aftermath. I could see the through line from Irene DuPont to MAGA, from the Liberty League to the techno-feudalist wet dream of the billionaire class. And that's when I realized something that terrified me more than blindness ever could. They're winning. They've captured the courts, rigged the systems, hijacked the narrative. They've infected our culture, our platforms, our schools. The axis of endarkment, the coalition of billionaires, autocrats, and digital feudalists are not trying to seize power. They already have it. And I knew this. I had seen it coming. I've been watching them build this machine for the last 13 fucking years. While the left was still arguing about terminology, they were constructing a global operating system of control. I knew how they thought. I knew what they were building. But I wasn't doing anything. Not really. I wasn't making videos. I wasn't organizing. I wasn't speaking. But because I was still a prisoner, not of some tyrant or system, but of my own goddamn body, my own anxiety, my own autism, the social fear that had haunted me since childhood, the curse of always feeling too much and not enough all at once. And trucking didn't help. It amplified the silence, gave it miles, hours, years. I wasn't alone in the absolute sense. Rebecca was with me, and that spared me from the soul-eating loneliness so many truckers face. But let's not kid ourselves. Being around one other socially awkward person 24/7 doesn't exactly sharpen your social skills. It insulates you in a bubble where your rough edges never get filed down. By the end of it, I wasn't the Brandon I used to be. Socially, I was a shadow of my former self, a ball of overstimulated ADHD awkwardness, flinching through interactions, clumsy with tone and timing, and misreading the vibe like a cracked radar dish. And then 2024 happened. Trump won again. And that was it. That was the moment, the fuck it moment, the end of excuses. I realized that if I didn't speak now, I never would. If I didn't lay out the vision I'd been building in my skull for over a decade, it would rot there, buried under fear, regret, and silence. The counter to technomonarchism, the real counter, wasn't going to be some grand armed insurrection or another partisan parade. It was a revolution of design, of systems, of infrastructure. The antidote to hierarchy isn't chaos. It's liberation by design, cities that dissolve power instead of concentrating it, economies that function without exploitation, governance that facilitates self-actualization, not obedience. The world doesn't need another fucking savior. It needs a new blueprint. Enlightenment Socialism. Not the Cold War bastardization of socialism, not the state-worshipping authoritarianism of tankies. Not the libertarian grift that sells you freedom while delivering oligarchy. I'm talking about a system built from the ground up on Enlightenment principles, the primacy of life, the sovereignty of the self, the freedom to become. That's what I've been building, quietly, in the margins of collapse. Now, I'm done being quiet. So I stare into this camera, not because I want to be a leader, but because the alternative is silence. And I've been silent too damn long. This is the war for the future, and I'm finally fucking ready to fight it. Not with bullets, not with gods, but with vision, with blueprints, with the living, breathing infrastructure of liberation. Because that's how we win. Not by seizing the crown, but by making the goddamn throne obsolete.